Photo, Tom Williams, CQ Roll Call, Newsco, MBR Rep. Hurd, R. Texas, is seeking to force a House vote on Dreamers. Tom Williams, Congressional Quarterly, Newscom, Zuma Press, TNS, Rep. Hurd, R. Texas, is seeking to force a House vote on Dreamers. Tom Williams, Congressional Quarterly, Newscom, Zuma Press, TNS, Photo, Tom Williams, CQ Roll Call, Newsco, MBR members from the Laredo Immigration Alliance, students from Walsh University in Ohio and residents from San Antonio participate in a march to show their support for DACA on March 5, 2018, in Laredo. Members from the Laredo Immigration Alliance, students from Walsh University in Ohio and residents from San Antonio participate in a march to show their support for DACA on March 5, 2018, in Laredo. Photo, Danny Zaragoza, staff photographer, Laredo Morning Times, Washington. 2 months after efforts to protect Dreamers fractured into a frenzy of opposing factions, a rebellion of Republican moderates, including a border district lawmaker from Texas, could force Congress to try again. Their gambit, which ran headlong into a counterattack by conservatives using the fight to derail a major farm bill last week, is just a few votes short of a majority that could trigger a series of votes offering hope to beneficiaries of the Obama-era Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals (DACA) program. We know what our vote count is, and we are going to get to the 218 that's necessary, Texas U.S. Rep. Hurd, a San Antonio Republican who has been leading the effort, said Monday in an interview. We want to have an honest debate on the floor. With next week's week-long Memorial Day recess looming, several GOP factions are scrambling for advantage in an intramural battle that has momentarily sidelined immigrant activists who are normally at the center of the DACA debate. It has also raised Hurd's national profile. Hurd's comments came as House Majority White Steve Scalise announced plans to vote on a more restrictive immigration proposal in June, part of an effort to satisfy conservatives and clear the farm bill. On Monday, the moderates appeared to be 22 votes short of the 218 needed for a discharge petition, a seldom-used parliamentary tactic used to bypass the congressional leadership and force a vote on the House floor. If all Democrats sign on, only 5 more Republicans would be needed. If they succeed, it would be a rare muscle flexing for centrists in an increasingly polarized Congress. The fringe Republicans don't want to see anything done on solving DACA, Hurd said. The threat has divided the Republican caucus in the House, where members of the Conservative Freedom Caucus withheld their votes from unrelated agriculture legislation on Friday in an effort to gain leverage for a more hardline immigration proposal. No Texas Republicans voted against the farm bill, though U.S. Representative Louis Gohmert of Tyler, a Freedom Caucus member, did not cast a vote. Democrats voted for the bill, which reauthorizes farm subsidy programs, because of a dispute with Republicans over billions in proposed cuts to food stamps. The farm bill vote was an embarrassing setback for lame duck House Speaker Paul Ryan, who has sought to blunt the internal GOP rift over DACA by offering to bring more Republican-friendly immigration proposals to the floor next month. But that has not placated moderate Republicans like Hurd from heavily Latino districts who are anxious to deliver legislation codifying protections for Dreamers, who have been in a legal limbo since President Donald Trump announced he would scrap the DACA program as of March 5. Only a series of court orders have kept the program in effect, clouding the future for some 800,000 Dreamers around the nation, more than 124,000 of them in Texas. Efforts to link legal status for Dreamers to a $25 billion border wall plan sought by Trump fell apart in budget negotiations in March when none of 4 competing proposals advanced in the Senate won enough votes to pass. Since then, Hurd and a bipartisan group of House members have been pushing for a similar Queen of the Hill series of votes, in which the plan with the largest number of votes above the 218 needed for a majority would advance to the Senate. More than 240 lawmakers from both parties have signed on to the Queen of the Hill idea, but not to the discharge petition that would actually force the votes to take place. In recent weeks, at least 3 plans have been competing for traction. Hurd's original USA Act, which would grant permanent legal status to qualified Dreamers along with technological and physical border improvements, the DREAM Act, backed by most Democrats, which offers a special path to citizenship, and the Trump-backed Securing America's Future Act, a bill co-sponsored by Houston-area Republican Michael McCall that beefs up the border, reduces legal immigration, and provides Dreamers only with renewable 3-year visas. Hurd's bill, like the DREAM Act, would put many Dreamers on a path to citizenship as permanent legal residents. "It's a pathway," he said. "It's not a special pathway." Immigration hardliners say all 3 proposals would effectively provide amnesty to Dreamers, though some have said they're willing to support the Trump-backed bill because it is the most restrictive. Some members of the Freedom Caucus also have backed the Trump-backed bill because it takes the hardest line on immigration, both legal and illegal. But it is not clear if any of the immigration bills could muster a majority in the House. Hurd, noting that his USA Act has 30 Republican and 30 Democratic sponsors, said it has the best chance of passing in a straight up or down test of all the competing immigration measures. "It's the only truly bipartisan bill out there," he said. But even if a coalition of Democrats and moderate Republicans could put Hurd's bill over the top, some GOP leaders are reluctant to force a vote on anything that could be construed as amnesty for Dreamers or others living in the U.S. illegally. Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, widely seen as a potential successor to Ryan, who is retiring at the end of his current term, reportedly told GOP colleagues in a closed-door meeting last week that it would be dangerous to their electoral fortunes in the November midterm elections, saying it could depress Republican turnout. McCarthy and Ryan have been working to keep Republicans from signing on to the discharge petition, which would put GOP lawmakers to the test on Dreamers, who polls show enjoy broad sympathy with the public. Ryan has instead hinted at bringing to the floor a DACA plan that falls short of the DREAM Act's promise of citizenship. But since Ryan's defeat on the Farm Bill on Friday, Hurd and his allies feel the momentum shifting their way. After a flurry of signatures over the weekend, the organizers appeared to be up to 20 Republicans and 176 Democrats, and counting. Hurd is the only Texas Republican behind the effort. 9 Texas Democrats have signed on, including Sheila Jackson Lee, Al Green, Gene Green from Houston, and Lloyd Doggett and Joaquin Castro from San Antonio. Another backer is El Paso Democrat Beto O'Rourke, who is running for the U.S. Senate seat held by Texas Republican Ted Cruz. As for the political costs of a divided party, Hurd is philosophical. "I've always said as an elected official, if one vote hurts your career or helps your career, then you're not doing your job." Kevin Diaz is the Chronicle's Washington bureau chief, covering issues important to Texas from the White House, the Supreme Court and Capitol Hill. Follow him on Twitter at @DiazCron and send him tips at KevinDiaz@Cron.com.